Hello, Parsons Core 3 Topics Branding students. This is our Week 5 follow-up briefing video. It's Friday, the ending of Week 5, and I wanted to share with you what is coming up next in our project, and also just to give a shout out to a great week of one-on-one meetings and independent working on each of your behalfs. I saw a lot of great ideas and really kind of following up on the work we've been doing in the previous weeks, creating our research and our strategy and our inspiration mood boards, and really being able to create logo identities, new logo designs that reflect those strategies into really interesting concepts. So I'm excited to see that development, and basically I want to give you the next steps and keep you updated on what expectations are and overall schedule. So I want to make this kind of a quick video, but in general, we're going from week 5 to week 6. Our workflow is that we're finalizing our logos, and from there we're going to begin to expand those into touch points and then create our final presentation. I'll give you an overview on the final weeks come up here in a sec, but first I want to remind you that we need to complete your Topics Lecture 5 series, watch those 2 videos on editorial design systems, and then do the online mural posting of 3 examples of great design spreads, or the option is also to do ones that aren't so great, but I would do great ones because it's a good opportunity to do some inspiration research and find some things that are cool and inspiring that might affect the work you're doing in this class or other classes. But I went on the mural board and I was surprised to see that there were no posts, not only in our class, but in the entire section or the entire topics, all the sections. It was an empty mural board. So not sure what's going on there, but let's not be a slack class. Please be sure to post your assignments before Tuesday or by Tuesday. And if you didn't finish the one from last week, please make sure you've posted that as well. And I'll be posting the next series 6. I think it's Editorial Design Systems Part 2. I'll post that on Tuesday when we begin the next week. Okay, so let's just get a look at what we're kind of getting closer to the end, and I want to get that whole timeline down here so everyone has understanding. As we are ending week 5 and going into week 6, we're going to be developing our logos. Everyone's kind of finalizing now, and everyone has kind of a variety of ideas, and even one concept may have several directions. And the goal is going to be to kind of get those down to kind of a one design direction per concept. So you'll end up having two or three sets of logos, each one corresponding to a design concept. And from there, for next week, we're going to use next week to kind of in the beginning and finalizing the logos, and then creating touch points, applications of the logo, putting them onto different elements to create the brand world that your logo will belong in. And then after that, week 7, we're going to have our final presentation reviews. And I'm going to arrange to get some guest critique reviewers, some creative professionals, some friends of mine, to be sort of new fresh eyes and minds and hearts, so you can get kind of this presentation feedback that doesn't come from us being together or working on this together, but somebody who hasn't been part of this process, someone outside, someone who's got good professional experience, and can share with you feedback and give you a chance to present to somebody who you don't know, and I'm not trying to be scary, but kind of a more kind of professional level presentation that give you good practice for the real thing, and get some good feedback from somebody new and different. So I'm going to round that up, and we'll have those on week 7. So here's a look at what we were doing for this week, and now here we're on Friday. So basically by now you should kind of have an idea what you think your final logos are going to be per each concept. This Mac presentation had 3 different concepts and it ends up with one of each. Right now, as I said, you may have several for each of these still, and that can be up in the air for now. And in fact, what we're going to do is on Tuesday's class, we're going to meet all together for a full class session on the 11th floor, and we're going to go through and share our logo designs with fellow classmates. I'll give a little feedback, of course, but I'm going to try to give more time for others to share and give you feedback in order to really make sure we kind of cement in the best, or even select the best ideas. If you have, 2 or 3 for the first concept, this might be a way to help you figure out which one's best. And then for the Thursday class is going to be about sharing in smaller groups and reviewing your sample touch points, which is next week's assignment, to create a set of sample touch points. So these sample touch points for next week's assignment, not due on Tuesday, but more towards Thursday, or is going to be for you to take your finalized logo for each concept. Here are 3 of them, and then create a set of touch points by applying your logo into applicable photos that demonstrate different kinds of touch points, whether it's packaging or merchandising or advertising or an online presence, a storefront, a display. It says a business card, like whatever the right thing is. Pick 2 or 3 out for 3 minimum out for each concept, and mock those together in a nicely designed page like you see here for Mac. Here you're seeing 3 different images for each of the designs, and that's cool and that's interesting and that's not wrong. At the same time, don't think that it would be wrong just to use, for example, the first 3 that you see on this first page and repeat those same images 3 times with the different logos on them. And the reason I'm saying that is because then if you do it that way, it's quicker and easier, which isn't necessarily a motivational factor, but it is. But it's also a fair way of looking at each of the 3 different ones to see how they really look, without it getting cluttered by you liking this bag better than this bag and making you think you're going to like that logo better or whatever. But the key is going to be that you pick out good images, you use your Photoshop skills, you use your design skills to lay out the page, you take the time to make the detail to make this logo on these bags look shiny so they look like they're embossed in this leather, or to put the glow of the light on the storefront here and the shadow on this brush, just kind of like outlining things nicely. Just this is where you need to really use your aesthetic skills and your taste levels to create inspiring, cool looking mood boards that look like the real thing, that look like, wow, that logo, that rebrand is alive and it exists, and we've got to do this because there it is in front of us. So it's a key thing. It's got to be professionally done, but also capture the heart. So that's going to be what we're going to strive for next Thursday. And depending on the kind of project you have, some of you have more kind of complicated packaging projects like Lysol or Mountain Dew or Fiji water. Like if you're probably going to focus more on creating that touch point than you are doing maybe this multiple. You can still do this probably in some way, but obviously if it's a big consumer product like that, Bic pen or Bic also, you probably need to really focus on that packaging more than anything else, and then seeing if you can add on for next week, add on the additional touch points as you can. But I recognize that takes more time, so don't feel like you have to do a lot of different things if you have one of those kinds of projects. So I've posted this on Canvas, and there's a Google Drive link here where you can post your final presentation. And for this week, I've noticed that maybe 2/3 of the students have posted on project 3's logo design assignment, your progress, your decks, and I want everybody to do that. So please be sure you post the work that you've done this week. It's okay if it's in progress, get just a snapshot on time. I just want it posted because that's part of the assignment. And I've already given everybody grades, but if I'm going to go back in a week or so, and if your assignment isn't posted on the Google Drive, you're going to lose points. So please make sure you post every assignment on each week's Google Drive the one coming up here and the one that's due this week as well, your logo designs. Okay, so let's do just a quick look at a little further on these brand touch points and how to present them and what kind of the objective is. So we looked at Barbie last week, and we saw that the idea here is that we're building on having a concept statement, having a name for the concept, being able to talk about it in a sort of narrative way that makes sense, and not in designer speak, but in everyday language, and then creating a mood board that reflects that world. Again, not necessarily in a design way, but in an overall holistic way, creating very specific design inspiration, research that can help inspire the techniques you want to use, or even demonstrate them. When you talk in your presentation, you can cite the kind of things that show up in this mood board that reflect the values you're trying to communicate with your concept and your strategy. And then to create the final logo, like after doing 10 or 12 of these logos, it comes down to this one for this design direction. And then to show touch points that apply to that logo. Now, if you have a lot of them that you really like and are proud of and really kind of want to not hide away into just one simple thing, there is an option to do a page before this where you do like a nice, well-designed grid, like an even amount of numbers, no weird, like all the same size. And you can show your progress or show your options and say, these are the explorations I did of this Barbie logo direction or your logo direction. And then this is what the result is. So that's an option too, if you like showing that kind of progress. And a lot of times it's also helpful for the client to see that. This person just chose to kind of get right to it and not be distracted, but it's your option too if you want to add a page in between your inspiration and your logo design. But here you see in her mock-ups basically a range of things from a package. And you can see here she has a package, and you don't need to get into all the details of what goes into a package because they are quite complicated. So just basically you're doing the top line version of a package that demonstrates the design direction without getting into all the like little details that go into packaging. Here she's showing an advertisement, a public advertisement, as well as a kind of like a merch piece, a shopping bag, and keeping it nice and simple so that the logo becomes alive within the world of the brand. Here she adds a second page here just to kind of clarify the concept behind her ad as a little extra detail. And then again, repeating the same thing, having another concept, and then having the logo that reflects your concept. If you want to add a page between your final logo decision and your inspiration that shows the options you were working towards, it needs to be good though. Don't just do it because you feel like you work so hard, like it needs to make sense. And here you see a very similar lineup of pictures, again, trying to keep things similar in order to really compare them, but also having the flexibility to do a few different images to show the logo in this case. And then a third concept, if you have three or you have two, and here's that third one. Again, here we're using the exact same images from the very first mock-ups, but just changing the design. And I think you can kind of see how it's helpful to see, like, without the clutterness, without the like showing the difference of the mock-up images you're making, you can see the difference of the logo, the brand itself, and how it works. And then of course you must have a thank you page at all times, never forget. So that's one example. And then another one here real quick is a TikTok redesign. And again, just the idea here is to show the student utilize the idea of the strategy like you're doing, has a concept, progressive, text about the concept, keeps the name progressive in every page so that we don't forget what it is, which I think is pretty helpful. The design inspiration, and then shows the logo, and then shows the way it could look like not only on the phone, but in other kind of graphic treatments. And then does the same thing for the second one. This one's energetic, and then shows the mood boards and design inspiration, and then shows and the energetic design direction. And in this case, some of you might have logos that can be modular or can have a more formal or more informal version, like in this case where you have the full name TikTok or just the exclamation mark. This for sure, you should be presenting that in this way where you have kind of both ideas together, and then follow that with the use of the logo in a mock-up form. Here he chose to do different images, which isn't wrong either, but you know, it might, I think there's something to say about the images being the same, just the logos being different. And here you can see that just he kind of uses it, not very much, but you can kind of see the just exclamation mark, how it works, and the bar, the navigation bars of both the phone at the bottom here and the desktop bar at the top there. But maybe showing that a little bit more prominently would have been better. And then again, the thank you page. And so that's basically what we're doing. And we can talk more about it on Tuesday when we're going to be presenting your logo directions. If you already got your directions down, of course, you can start working on selecting your mock-up images and how creating your plan, but you might want to wait for the feedback on Tuesday before you start making the mock-ups. But unless you know already, so you don't have to wait if you want to keep going forward. But I think most of you are probably still working on refining your logos and getting them down to the right set of choices. Okay, so again, we're ending this week. Our logos are finishing. Next week is our last full week of working on the project, where we'll get the logos finalized. We'll create our touch points, and then on week 7, we're going to have final presentations. Depending how things go, I thought I would break these up, the final presentations, on Tuesday and Thursday. But now maybe I'm thinking you might need that extra time to work so that you have kind of the full week 7 and do our final, everyone does the final reviews on Thursday. But if anyone's ahead and we could do some of them on Tuesday, maybe a third of the class on Tuesday, that might make it easier for us to be able to see more reviews together rather than break ourselves apart into different groups and we don't see them. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. But for now, I think that's basically it. Don't forget to do editorial design systems, the videos and the exercise. And I will see everyone on Tuesday. Be ready to present your logos and be ready to give feedback. I want participation from the class. I want you guys to give feedback. Go there in the mindset of a consumer and as a designer, so you can give feedback to your fellow students and help everyone to make their designs and their presentations better. So have a great weekend. And again, I want to hear from you guys. I want to be bothered. I want to be bugged. I want to be harassed. I want to be getting too many Slack messages. I want to be getting too many emails. I want to be complaining about, oh, I have to respond to you guys nonstop, because I want you guys to be utilizing me as a creative director, as someone to help guide you. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to make your projects better, so please do it. So look forward to getting bothered by you, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Bye.